ladies and gentlemen, I don't even have an intro for you, Wolfie. I met Dr. Hofbauer.
And I sent you the media release and everything.
You did too, and I'm just going to say, Wolfie's a cool guy. I listen to him; he's cool. No, actually, I met Wolfgang. My God, I met you about 2 years ago, I guess. At one
something like that.
Yeah, in David Padia, and David Kavanaugh's event in Padia. Wolfie, as you can see, is from Melbourne. He is from Oz. He's an expert in local marketing, among other things, and has been a coach to David Kavanaugh students for many, many years. If you don't know David, he's a pretty cool guy too. He runs a 12-day retreat here in Thailand on internet marketing, and I've been on his faculty. So it's pretty cool and pretty fun. Wolfgang's going to spend some time with us today on WordPress security. You want to take a lot of notes. This will be recorded, of course, because we record all of our sessions. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Dr. Hofbauer one of our warm Totalpreneur iBoost Device Site Wrap virtual claps. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Woohoo!
Hey, that's the first time I've been made a honorary doctor. That's good.
Okay, I will be here with you, my friend. But let's rock and roll, because I know you have a lot to cover.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, theoretically, you should by now be able to see the first page of the presentation.
It's not theory; it's reality. We see it.
You see it? Good,
yeah.
good. Now, notice at the bottom, I'm saying how to check for and fix most common WordPress security issues, and this is a basic presentation. There is so much more that can be done, but realistically, you don't need it unless you are or have been a target of some hackers and they're not leaving you alone. Then you obviously need to step it up. But for most people and most of their websites, this is going to be more than enough. Now, is it important to actually save yourself from being hacked? I put in this search here in Google this morning, how to hack a website. I got 29 million results.
Oh my God.
And they start with videos. Do you think there's information out there on how to hack websites? Now, if you want to go even further into this, how hacking a WordPress site. Okay, there's only 103,000 results, but there are also videos. And some of these videos are very detailed and will get you in. Now, I'm not here to promote hacking in any way, shape, or form, because I detest the little critters. And so, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few things that you could do to safeguard yourself from them. And obviously, in order for me to show you what they're looking for, I need to do that on a website. Now, there's 4 steps that I usually do to give it a broad check to see how the website goes. And the first one is I check if the WP admin window comes up, right? Which is the normal way that we all log in. We type in the domain name, we type in the /, then WP admin, and all of a sudden we're at the window where we're asked for our username and our password. Well, if that happens on your site, you have failed test number 1. Now, the WP admin question test. When you're at that window where you're logging in, if you type in, and this is the first thing any hacker will attempt by you, he will type in admin and then go any sort of text whatsoever as the username. As the password. Now, if the message comes back saying that the password for this username is incorrect, you have told the hacker that you are using admin as the username. And therefore, you have just given him the opportunity to put the key in the lock. All he needs to do now is turn it, and he's in. All right? So that's test number 2. Test number 3 is the generator test. And that's where we look at the code, the source code of the actual website that you have. And the reason why the generator code is so important that you don't show it is because it tells them what version WordPress you're running. And they have the ability, and they give notes to each other on what the vulnerabilities are for each individual version of WordPress. That's why it is very important that you don't tell anybody the version or make it openly available. And that leads us to the fourth test, which is the README file test. And the way you do that is you simply type in your domain name, you put /readme.html, and if the file comes up, well, straight away you'll see that you have failed. Now, I know I've gone through them verbally, but I'll actually show you how this all comes about and how you can do the test. Now, one of the things, I'll go over to the website now.
You know, Wolfie, I just realized we probably should.
That you want to do.
We probably should have warned people to not have had a lot of food before this presentation, because nausea may start setting in once we all see the vulnerabilities that you may have on your sites.
Oh, look, it's amazing actually, and the ones that people mostly fail is actually all four of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't come across many sites where maybe 2 or 3 are all right.
Yeah. Well, our job is to solve
rightly this. So. Yeah, rightly so, and that's going to be easy to do. Now, what I'm going to do, actually, I'll stay there, and I'll go to the next part here. Now, the reason why I'm showing you password managers, I'm going to give you a couple of different names of different programs that are available to manage your passwords. The reason for it is because they also manage your username. And you don't want to pick something simple as a username, and you definitely never, ever, ever want to pick something simple as your password. Now, in my instance or situation, I monitor around about 65 email accounts. And on top of that, all the websites and entities and all the customer accounts, everything. Yeah, it's just a mind map, or should I say a minefield. And what I do is I record all of them, because all of my passwords are 18 characters, upper and lower case, with numbers, with special characters and simple characters. I have no way on this earth in remembering that without software. Okay, so the first one that I like and personally use myself is 1Password, and I've put the link next to it there so you can go and check it out. Now, not all of them are free. They're all paid versions. But the reason why I like 1Password, before we get on the last pass, 1Password is on my laptop, is on my PC, is on my iPad, is on my iPhone. And anytime I add a new password or change a password, all of those platforms update themselves. So I always have the latest, which is very, very handy. The next one is LastPass, followed by RoboForms, followed by DirectPass. Now, these are not in order of excellence or anything like that.
Yeah, if you're a Windows person, you love RoboForm. That's what I used to use before I went to 1Password on the Mac.
Yeah, yeah. And now I think 1Password now has a Windows version as well.
Oh, okay.
And you've got the Password Genie. Now, in case you missed it, right down the bottom right-hand side, there's a camera image that just flickered. I'd like you, for your sake, so you don't have to take notes after notes after notes, take a screen capture of this shot. That way, you know straight away when you go around and do your research what the URLs are, all right? Now, before we do a lockdown process, it is all right for sites that are just started, when you just begun. But if you have an established site, you do not want to do this without first taking a backup or a clone. Now, Ken's been good enough to make available a...
We changed the name of that.
Nice little bit of software there.
We changed the name of that URL. Maybe we didn't. I thought we changed it. We did. We gave it something else. We gave it was like a wrap. It was totalporn.com backup, WP backup or something. I don't remember. That's all right.
That's what I thought it was, but this is the one that's coming up.
Oh right. Oh yeah, because I did a redirect on it. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Anyway, I tell you what, this software here, it clones blogs, it clones, well, WordPress sites completely in under 60 seconds. And this is not a word of a lie. When you have the blog there, or when you have the backup there, you can actually move that blog to another domain name and recreate it, and it'll be, honky-dory. Now, how good is this system? put it this way, my company offers a hack recovery system for customers where we take regular backups of this and of the database, and you'll see how that is done in just a moment. And we say to them that if we cannot re-establish your website within 24 hours of you informing us that it has fallen over, then you get the service for free for an entire year. And that's almost $1,000 worth of money. So, there's a good guarantee. And why do I give it? Because I know it's so easy to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here. All right. We currently have this website, testbed3.info, and as you can see, there's a very basic website on there, no content, nothing whatsoever. Now, if you get hacked and you have a backup or a clone using the program there, then you can recreate this website. So let's get into Cpanel, and in this case it was established with Fantastico Deluxe. And by the way, everybody tells you that it's a really insecure method of putting in WordPress, and yes it is, but not with what we're doing to it as far as security goes. All right, now we're just going to remove that. So remove the WordPress installation. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this, because I could have quite easily started with a blank canvas, is so you can see how easy it is to actually get rid of your website. If we now go back to the website and do a refresh, you will see it says it's forbidden because it doesn't exist anymore. All right, there you go. So it's not there currently. However, we're not quite clean yet. And I'm hoping that Ken is listening, because when I told him the other day that we clean up the website, he was wondering what I was talking about.
I'm listening.
See this htaccess file and the error log? You need to get rid of these. Okay, so that's in the public HTML. That's your root directory. So it is now totally empty. Most hacks will not go beyond this level. Okay, but if they've come in through your hosting company and through your server, then you're going to have to be talking to them in conjunction with what you've got to do. But most hackers will be at this level, and what I have just done has cleaned out their hack. And you simply upload the backup and reinstall it, and it's up and running. So I can, and I've done it a few times for people, reinstall a website and have it up and running in 15 minutes. That's why I give a 24-hour guarantee in case I want to have a have a break, have a cup of coffee or something, because it's arduous work. Don't you think so, Ken?
I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, we see a lot of htaccess.
All right,
issues.
so let's get the. Sorry.
No, we see htaccess. We see the biggest thing.
And that's the thing. See, but you're out there in the industry, so you almost become a target. All right, so let's install it. Let's get going and actually secure this. So I'm just going to do the usual and call it admin. Use the password for admin. Get rid of this. I have a default email that doesn't get looked at.
Yeah, some of you are used to this.
Admin. Yeah. So we'll just call everything admin. I'm not here to show you how to install these. I just want to get it in there really quickly so we've got something to play with. And we're done. Okay, so if we refresh the page now, we should see the basic install again. And there we are. Now, let's go through those tests. What was the first test? If you remember, it was putting the / on and then typing WP admin. Now, we failed test 1. All right. Now, test 2 was typing in admin and then letting your fingers go spastic on the keyboard for a few moments and hit login. And here, actually, what you see up the top right-hand corner there, that's my 1Password saying, hey, I've never seen this password before. Do you want me to remember it? Right? And I'm just going to click beside it and say no. But the message we got here is the password you have entered for the username admin is incorrect. So I've just told him that my username is admin. So I've given him half the way in. Now, the next one that we were talking about, as far as the tests go, was what? The generator test. Okay? And to do that, we need to go back to the main page. Just load that. Now you can see the code that this site is made of by putting your cursor on the side of your site, right-clicking and saying View Page Source. Now and then if you look for this set of symbols here, like the less than sign, / head, and then greater than sign, that's the end of the header. And the stuff we're looking for is just before it, and here it is here. This is the generator code. So we're telling them that we're using WordPress 3.3.1. Not only is that telling them what version we're using, it's also telling them that I don't care about my website because I haven't updated it, because the current version is 3.8. All right? So we failed there as well. Now, the last one is the README test, and this is how you should be checking all of your websites. Right? And realistically, let's put it this way. If you fail the first test, put in security, because you're not going to be any better off on the others. All right? So, readme.html. Look at that. There it goes. It's telling them what version we're on straight away. Wow. So, you know, it's like blatantly advertising what's going on. It's everywhere. So, and we don't want that. So let's get into actually securing it. Just bring these up again. Next slide. Okay, now there's two aspects of locking down a website. You have to do some work in your Cpanel, which is your hosting account, and you have to do some work in your WordPress area. And I'm going to go on with the Cpanel aspect first. Now, don't worry about, you know, this being techo and, you know, stuff like the pie in the sky type stuff, and you won't be able to do it. If you get the recording of this and play it back, and whenever I do something, you pause the recording, take those steps, then listen to the next bit, you will get through it by yourself. However, it does take time, and if you're scared about working around in code, then you definitely would want to look into getting somebody to do it, and talk to Ken about that, because he'll be able to help you in that aspect. Okay, lockdown process. Cpanel, first thing we want to do is in the WP content folder, and then in the uploads folder, which is in there, we want to put an index.php file. All right, so we go into Cpanel. And we go into File Manager. Now, what the presentation said, we need to go into WP content and then uploads and add an index.php. So here's WP content, so we double click. Here's the uploads, and there's nothing in there. So we simply come over to the top left-hand side there, and we click New File. And what was it we had to call it? We had to call it index.php. So we call it index.php. And we say create. Okay, that part's done. Let's get on to the next part. In the WP admin folder, we need to add a HT access file. So let's go back to the top, which is public HTML. So we click on that, and it was where? In the WP admin. So we go to WP admin, and you're going to see a fair bit of stuff in here. But we need to create a HT access file. So again, we go to the top left and say a new file and go .ht access. And then simply say create new file. There's that step done. Now we need to delete some stuff. We've added some stuff, now we need to delete some things. And one of the things we want to delete is the readme.html file, isn't it? Because we do not want that to be found by the people, so, or by the hackers. So, oops, got a bit over anxious there. All right, so we go back to public HTML, and you see there, readme.html. So we delete that. Now there's two more things we need to delete, and then we're basically done. And they are in WP admin. Now please take note of this caution. Do not delete the index.php file, which is very close to these two files. So we're going to WP admin, and you see down here, you've got index, install helper, and install. Well, once you've got it installed, do you need to have the install file anymore? And do you need to have the help anymore? No, but they are good pathways for them to get in. So we just highlight those two, install and install helper, and get rid of it. Making sure you do not get rid of index.php. It's going to cause all sorts of havoc for you. Now, that's your cPanel done. Okay, now let's lock down WordPress. This is where the juicy bit starts. All right. First, we need to delete the admin user. Now, let's log in. I'm going to close down cPanel because I don't need it anymore. And we will now log in. And this was the initial install, so I know that if I use WP admin, I'll be able to find the window because it's default. And we used admin, didn't we? And we also used admin because I don't have an imagination. And we don't want to save it. Now, here in this case, you could straight away update. I'm going to let it do it simply because the plugin is updated to the latest version and I don't want it to have a conflict. I just want to make sure that I'm on the latest version. And you should always, always update your plugins and your WordPress installation. Now, with your plugins, here's a bit of a hint. When WordPress first updates to a new version, the owners of the plugins will have a look and they will do some testing. Now, until they come back and say, yes, this plugin is good for this current version, don't put a new one in. Wait for it. Some of them do the update and then they do the testing. And yeah, I've come across a few instances where the plugin had to be repaired again and it didn't do well for my site. Now, let's go to the users. So that's over on the left-hand side under users. And you will see here we have an admin guy that doesn't have delete me next to it because he's the only person in here at the moment. So we're going to have to play a few tricks on this. First, we add a new one. What do we call him? Now, this up here, the username, once it's made, cannot be changed. You know what I do? There you go. That's the username. Email. Now, I have this as my default email, but this one here, being the default email, is already used by the other user or by the other admin user. And you cannot create a user with the same email address. So even though it doesn't exist, I just put a number 2 in there for the moment. All right. First name. Now, here's where you can get really tricky. You know how some themes actually show you the author of, say, a post or some a page in that. Well, what if you were to incorporate your key phrase here? So, what if you were to say, global domination, if that's what you're doing, yeah? And then obviously have a website here, testbed, they'll do. Now, passwords. I'll show you how easy it is to get a password. On the top right hand, you'll see me clicking on my one password. There's a little symbol here that says password generator. As you notice, I can set it to any length, but 18 is about all you want to go up, because most software will not recognize anything after 18. And simply leave the rest down here, copy that, or you could even use fill, but I use copy all the time. And for a simple reason, now that I've got it and it tells me it's a strong one, I straight away go over and click here by my password and record it. And I come into here and I copy and record what my username is. Because if you're making it this secure, there's no chance you're ever going to guess it, is there, Ken?
Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
Yeah. Now, for safety, in case you forget to do those 2 steps, is you can say, send it to me using this email account. But because it's a fake one, it'll never reach there, so I never even bother about that. And then make sure that you set it as administrator. And then click add new user.
So Wolfie, when you do your email,
I worked it out.
Well, yep. Wolfie, when you put in your email in, you're using a fake email address all the time, or are you just doing that for this demo?
Well, the email address that you see at the top here for the admin user is the one that I use for all my websites to send the admin rubbish, right?
Okay. So you are going to use a real.
Because I want to use I'm going to use a real one.
Okay.
Because you can't use the same one twice.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to amend it in just a moment.
Okay, no problem. Okay, gotcha.
So now there's 2 users here, but this one has a delete, and he's the one I want, and this one doesn't have a delete. And Ken will let you know that means we need to log out.
Exactly. Remember we talked about that last.
Right, Ken?
Remember we talked about that last time, Cindy? So exactly.
Yeah. So now we need the information. So we quickly get the username.
And by the way, you guys, if you have if you have one password or RoboForm or whatever, all you need to do is put it in once, and RoboForm can remember it for you, so you don't have to remember it on your own.
Yep. Actually, I'll put it in there now because it's asked me again, and I'll say save. All right. And what Ken was talking about is now I can log out. I'll just show you. Come on, get out. Don't want to be there anymore. Okay, now I can simply click up there, and there you go.
It's filled in automatically.
It in automatically for me every time I come back now.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's so easy. It's great.
Okay. Now we go back to the users, because now we're actually the new user. And as you can see on the top right hand here, it says howdy global domination. And now the admin user has to delete, but the current one doesn't. So we delete that one. And we say attribute all posts to global domination. Sometimes you might have more users. That's why it gives you a drop down.
And if you delete all the posts, you lost all the content that admin posted. So make sure you attribute those posts to whoever you. Yeah, don't just be careful about that.
Yeah, if you don't attribute them to the new user, that's it. They're gone.
That's right.
Because it totally wipes that user and anything that user has done from the database.
Yep.
Now let's edit this user and fix up this email address so that it is a true email address again. And because I don't like black, I'm going to select that and come down here to the email and fix that up. And here you have the option of selecting any combination of above. I definitely don't want to show them this, because then I'm showing them what my username is, and they can then again put that in the top part when they log in, and then only have to figure out the password, right? So this is another level of security by you putting a name in that you can then use. So here I'm going to say select global domination, and that's the aspect done of putting in a new user. Ta-da! As soon as the page refreshes. Now let's go and have a look at what we need to do then. It's what?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Have I got my camera on, have I?
I don't see your camera on.
Oh, okay. I just thought because you said it's beautiful, I thought you were looking at me. You should be paying attention on the screen here.
I was looking at your picture, Wolfie.
All right. Okay. Now, in settings, there is a section called discussions. I suggest you click on that and scroll down a little bit. In this right here, you can see before a comment appears. So if you allow people to comment on your website, you want to have some form of control. And by clicking this here and saying that a comment must be manually approved by an administrator, you're stopping that comment from appearing until you have said yes. So if somebody finds your site and wants to spam you by putting all sorts of ridiculous comments in there with a couple of backlinks, then it's not visible to anybody until you approve it. And then obviously you're not going to do that, so it'll never see the light of day. And therefore, the quality of your website stays a lot higher. Simply scroll to the bottom and save changes. Now, that's as difficult as it is what we're doing here. We're just following step after step. Now, we're going into the plugins page. So on the left-hand side, you see plugins, and we'll go into the installed plugins. Now, the reason why I'm going to delete Hello Dolly is because that's a default one that goes in there, is because you need to remember each plugin that you have installed has its own potential weaknesses. So if you've got a plugin in there that isn't even used nor active, why leave it in there? It's like having multiple gates open to your backyard, and we don't want to do that, and we simply click delete these files, and Hello Dolly is out of there. By the way, Matt put that in there at the beginning when he designed WordPress, just so you can get more friends. Well, that's my idea anyway. Okay, now we need to set permalinks, and they're in setting right at the bottom. Now, the reason we need to set permalinks is because of the way the security actually checks the individual pages. But on top of that, it is also a good SEO feature to do this, because currently the default says your page is called P123 as an example, right? What we wanted to do is we wanted to have the post name. So if you put on there crazy cows with tennis rackets and shotguns, right, and if that's your key phrase, then that's in your page name, and you want to definitely use that as an advantage. So once you click there, it comes up to here, and then simply click the custom structure and say you're going to use that, and then save changes. So far, all nice and simple, isn't it? Now, we're getting to the meaty bit. This is the WordPress security plugin. It is a free plugin. There are heaps and heaps of plugins out there. The one that I like to use is Better WP Security by iThemes. Reason for that is that this plugin gives you pretty much everything that you need to get up there to about the top 5% of websites as far as security goes for WordPress. So you're leaving 95% of the websites behind by doing this plugin. And the good thing is the recent developments in this plugin is that it has incorporated the functionality of some other plugins. Because initially when I was doing security for people, it was a minimum of about 8 plugins that I had to install and configure in certain sequence so that they wouldn't conflict with each other. And this plugin here has taken care of all of that. So let's get in how to install the plugin. So we want to go for plugins, and we want to add a new plugin. Click on that. And if you have it already on your system, like you might have had a downloaded copy, you can use upload, but we need to find it first. And lo and behold, by typing in that, I get it already in there. So I might have done this once or twice for it to be in my memory. And here we have Better WordPress Security by iThemes. You can always check. It's usually the last thing as to who made the actual theme or plugin. Sorry. Then we say, yes, we want to install it. I know this is... Unless you're really interested, security is a boring subject because it's just one step after the other after the other. But it is so important.
It's boring until you've been hacked, at which point it's like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever heard. So if you haven't been hacked yet,
yes.
I mean, honestly, it's like you know when burglar alarms get sold after your house gets robbed.
Yes.
So
which the attitude you got to have about security is like a house insurance, contents insurance.
Precisely.
It is boring piece of paper that has absolutely no value. But I tell you, when the 3-bedroom home burns down, that piece of paper all of a sudden becomes valued at about $500,000, or depending where you're buying, doesn't it? So it's very important. And look, if your website is hacked, there's some pretty awful images and content that gets put up there. Yeah, I was going to show you some sample images, and I thought they're really too disturbing.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. But the worst part is when they'll do it, and they'll do it in a fashion that either your site just doesn't load, or I mean, there's even hacks where they'll just have it really loading slow, and it just doesn't perform right. We've had that where the site still works, but it works so badly that it's this, it's awful. So there's different elements of where it's going to mess you up. Anyway, so are you guys doing okay? Let's just do a quick check-in with everybody. You guys doing okay? Has this been helpful so far?
Yes, thanks.
Yes, it's great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah. I'm doing my best to keep it nice and simple, step by step. So there's definitely not going to be an issue if you just follow the steps through this. Pause the video when you watch it back, and then do it. Now, here's the plugin. You can either reach it by hitting Settings, or down the bottom here, it's put a new heading called Security. We go into that. Now, because this has recognized that I don't have a database backup yet, it's suggesting that I do one. So let's just click it. And it's going to store that on the actual hosting account. And then let's just go further. Now, the next question it asks us, do you want it to do a basic secure, or do you want to do it in your own configuration? Please tick the one with your own configuration at the bottom, because we're going to do a few things that are above and beyond the simple secure. Now, here's your answer for this website, or my answer for this website. Red is bad. Yellow, I can adjust if I want to. Blue is an optional, and green is secure. There's not much green there, is there? Yeah?
No.
Implement. You're not enforcing strong passwords. What I'm saying there is, I know the admin user has a very strong password, being 18 characters, but I could just as easily put in 1, 2, 3, and it would accept it as a password, because I'm not forcing the system to say, no, for your safety, you have to have a strong password. How do you fix it? Well, we simply click here to fix. And wait for the page to load. Here we go. All right. Enable strong passwords for administrator. Save changes. However, if you have a membership site, or you have some staff that access your website, you will at some time need to. So what we do is we select the editor, we click off the selection, unclick, click off, and click it on again. The reason why you have to unclick and click back on again is because for some reason in Firefox it will not recognize that the tick is already there. Okay, so then we go through author, and each time we make sure that we save the changes. Then we do contributor, and then when the page reloads, thank you, we do subscriber. Okay, once we've done that, we scroll back up to the top and we click on dashboard. And it's just performed a new scan and told us that we're now green on the first bit. Now, remember where I was saying the generator was showing what version you're using when they look at the source code? Here it is here. Whoop. The users. So we click here to fix. And if you're thinking that it's a case of click here to fix all the way down, it's not. There's a few that we don't touch. Now notice how this is yellow. The company iThemes has done a lot of testing and has found out that the ones that are marked in yellow will or could have a conflict with some third-party applications or some WordPress themes and or plugins. So if you come up to a yellow one, read first, and if you don't know whether your blog has integrated external XML-RPC services such as Flickr, talk to your web designer. He will be able to tell you. I tick all three and leave it at that. Now we go back up to the top and do the dashboard again. By the way, if anybody has a question, you're quite welcome to ask it. However, I'm not going to go continuously into questions because there is a fair bit to cover. Now, non-administrators can see all the updates. What it's saying there is, you know how sometimes you get notification at the top of your screen saying that this plugin is out of date or this version of WordPress is out of date? Well, you don't want your users, if this is a membership site, you don't want them to see it, because normally it tells them, you know, contact administrator to inform them of this. Well, we hide the theme updates, we hide the plugin updates, and we hide the core updates and save changes. And once again, we say rescan please and tell me what's going on. Now it's looking a lot better, isn't it? Now, one of the things that, this is actually the next bit, number 6. Ken mentioned it the other day that a lot of people leave the default of WP underscore as the prefix to the database tables. And that is usually because it's a default, it's usually the first thing that they'll try to do. So let's click here and rename the tables. Okay, here it tells you that it's WP. So change database table prefix. We simply click that. And now it's FVF0M16. They're not going to guess that. So you've just taken care of that. So now what you've done is you've taken away the default on every database that you have in there and changed it to this. So they're not going to be able to guess that. Now, you're not scheduling regular backups of your WordPress database. I'm going to ask you a question here, and I'd like an answer. Put the number 1 into the box, into the comments box, if you would like me to show you how to do automated database backups and have it set up in about 2 minutes. Anybody?
I'm getting some yeses.
Oh, you're getting some yeses. Oh, I'm not seeing any of them.
Oh, you know why? Because I didn't set you up as an organizer. You're not seeing them.
Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. As long as you're getting them, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Right, let's do it then. You need a box account, not a drop.
Whoops, Wolfie. Sorry, Wolfie. We lost your sound there for a second.
Yep.
Wolfie, go back about 15 seconds.
Okay.
I made you organizer so you could see these, and we lost your sound. So you started saying get a Dropbox account.
Okay, no problems. Yes, all right. You need to have a Dropbox account, but let's get started first in having a look at this aspect of what we need to do in here. All right. First thing is, it tells you, do you want to use Backup Buddy? No, you don't have to get that. And we're not going to create a database backup because we've just made one. But down here you can see Enable Scheduled Backups. And here you're given an option as to the value and also hours, days, and weeks. Now, if you're only going to add some content every week, once a week or something like that, leave it as a weekly backup. But if you're going to do daily content, then definitely go to daily. And I've never ever had an instance where a customer needed to go to hourly, unless you're designing and you're super scared that you might be breaking something. Yeah. But I normally have everything set to weekly. And now it tells you here that you can email this backup, and it automatically puts in the email address from the admin user, which we don't want, because we don't want to have them on our system. We want to have them done automatically somewhere else so we don't clog up our email box. And this is where Box comes in. All right. This is the folder, and you can call your folder whatever you want to call it. All right. And in whatever, sort of a hierarchical structure that you want to use. But I use database backups. And if you come over here to the right-hand side where it says More Options, and click, it shows you an uploads options. And over here it says email files to this folder. How cool is that? I love it. Now usually you'll see it in this sort of configuration. So you click on email options and click yes, and it'll generate an email for you. You simply copy that email and save it at the bottom, because you want to say that this folder now accepts databases or databases via email login. And then we go back to, just lost my page, there we go. Then we go back into here and paste that email that we've just obtained. And we can even tell it how many copies to keep. And we say save changes. Now, does this work? I've just got to wait for the page to finish loading. For some reason, it's still rotating. Okay. Does it work? Well, have a look at this. There's no files in there. I'll go into the folder itself. There's no files in there. Come back to here, and I'll say create a backup. And what it's doing now is it's creating the database backup, and it's emailing it to this email address that I got here. And yes, I had to do it, but I just wanted to make sure that you can see that the file will appear momentarily. Someone has uploaded a file. Look at that. Just come out of there and go back into there. There you go. There's your database. Now, I know I pressed create the database, but this here, the one and the weeks, and this enable schedule backup is going to make sure that it does it automatically. There you go. That's how easy it is for people to safeguard themselves. And if you want to go to a company down the road and get charged for it, yeah, go for it. I know a good one. I don't mind charging you. But honestly, this is a database backup, right? I don't want to make it sound or make you believe that I charge, $47 or $87 a month for this sort of service alone because it's automated. I also take complete WordPress backups and complete Cpanel backups, which includes the email addresses and everything from the client. So there's a lot more that I do. All right, let's get back up to the top and continue. Did everybody find that helpful?
And the answer
and by
is
the way,
yes.
Who's going to do this?
The answer should be everybody.
Who's going to do it though? Yeah, I'm hoping so.
The answer should be all of
this
you.
This is automated backups.
Yeah. Yeah, this is mandatory, guys.
Yeah. Now, your WordPress in admin area is available 24/7. Yes. And I would leave that because whenever you want to go in there, you don't want to have to come log in and then go into this plugin, turn that off just so you can do your own amendments. I would leave that on. And as you can see, it's a yellow, and yellow means items in orange are partially secured. Turn on, more options to fully secure these areas. I leave it all the time. I don't change it. Now, you're not blocking known bad hosts and agents with Hack Repair. Now, known bad hosts and agents, they're programs, agents are programs that come in and attempt to have a go at you, and hosts are sort of like the IP addresses. So what we do is here, we enable the default banned list, and then we say we quickly add it, and we're going to enable banned users. Now, at the moment, it doesn't make sense to enable it, but just a little bit down the track, what you're going to see is we're going to instigate something that's going to say you can only log in so many times and fail before you get banned. Well, this is where the banned users will come to, into this little box here. And then we save changes. This is the thing that takes so long by doing this setup, having to reload the pages all the time. If only internet was instantly. Your login is not protected from brute force attacks. Wouldn't that be good, Ken?
Yeah, really.
All right, let's protect our login from brute force. Now, this is what I was talking about, login limits. I don't change anything here. Seems pretty reasonable. If you make a mess of it 3 times and get locked out 3 times, you shouldn't be attempting to get into the website because you obviously haven't figured out the part where it says, forgot my password, or you shouldn't be a member. Now, initially, it's really handy to have this thing email you whenever somebody triggers this. But you know what? After a while, you'd be amazed how many attempts there are at your website. You'd be absolutely amazed. So I don't turn that on. I don't want email notifications, but by all means, go for it. Leave it on and simply enable it, and you'll be able to see how many people actually have a go at your website. Here, this is the big one. Admin area is not hidden. This is where we type in WP-admin and we see where we can log in. Well, we don't want them to be able to see that, do we? So what we do is we enable to hide the back end. And the locations we need to fix is this and this. Now, don't use things like let me in or backdoor or whatever sort of things, because they try things like that, right? They have text type programs that just flicker through different sample texts. What I do is, and this is my personal thing, like in this case here, the domain name is called testbed. So I would start off with TB and then give it a couple of numbers. All right. I copy that and type it down here. And then I say save changes. Now, before you leave this page, it is imperative that you take a copy of your login URL and we put it into piece of text document so we can have it for later on. Now further down you see what's called a security key. We also copy that and save that as well. Now the security key, what happens is if you happen to lose your login as to where to go so you can log in, there is a way in by using the security key, and that's why we save it. Save the changes just to make sure it's got everything. Now let's get to the webs. No, we're logged in. We need to log out to actually do this. I'll show you later on how the testing is done and how the key is used when we actually go and retest this site. Your HT access file is not secured. Okay, click here to fix. Now, as you can see, all of these are yellow. I always tick all of them, and so far have had no issues. However, if you've got non-English characters on a site that is, not for a English language, you definitely don't want to tick this one then. Then we go back to the top, and once again go into the dashboard. And look at this, how quickly we're getting down the list. Now, your installation is not actively blocking attackers trying to scan your site for vulnerabilities. Well, we don't want that. We don't want them to be able to come in here and check our site out for vulnerabilities. So let's put a brick road in front of them. Enable 404 detection. And we want to blacklist repeat offenders. We don't want them to come back. Now, whilst we're down here, we might as well tick enable file change detection, and it tells you a bit of a warning here that you need a bit more space. But what this does is it sends you an email to the address that you put in as the admin user of what has happened to your website. In other words, if you haven't been in there and none of your staff have been in there, and all of a sudden you get an email saying one of your files has changed, unless you know there's an automated plugin in there that fires off from time to time, you should go in there then and check your website out, because it's told you that some files have changed. So if you've got nothing set up to change any files and it has happened, then obviously there's an issue. So back to dashboard. Somebody just received a message. I heard the boing.
I should have muted myself.
That was you, Ken, wasn't it?
Or muted Skype. Yeah, exactly. No, Matt was just privately telling me. Matt was privately telling me you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you. Now, the installation. This next part here, it talks about character or URLs or web addresses being longer than 255 characters. Okay, that predominantly seems to become an issue when you have multiple levels of drop-down menu. Right? And if you have file names like black and white cows with tennis rackets and shotguns, because those take up a lot of text. I have not come across the issue yet with 255, because I don't want the entire top window up here to be taken up with a URL, so I tend to make mine as short as possible. So we come up to here, we click this, click this, click this, click this, click this, even though only one of them was in regards to the almost made the error. in regards to the 255 characters. Now, the one that I ticked down the bottom here, the turn off file editor in WordPress backend, don't tick it. I'll show you why. But let's save the changes first. Where that comes into play is when you come into here and you click appearance, this editor here, you can turn that off so that nobody can edit your pages. But if you do that and you want to make some changes, you have to come into here first and untick that so that you can get in there and edit your own page. And realistically, if they're in your admin screen, they've broken in. They're good enough to break in, and then they are going to be good enough to actually break in through that last piece, so I never do it. Now, what have we got left? We have left, you should rename WP content directory for your site. Do not touch. And you're not requiring a secure connection for logins. Do not touch. That's it. We're done. How cool is this? Your website is now in the top 5% as far as security goes for WordPress. Your website has now got a automated database backup. So if it does fall over, you could do something. You've been shown how to obtain some really great software so that you can clone your website where you don't even have to muck around with the database. You just upload the clone, activate the clone, and you're back up and running. And it works for WordPress sites, for membership sites, it works for everything. And it takes the whole lot. Takes your revisions, takes your SEO settings, takes everything with it, right? Now, the biggest file test I've seen done anywhere is where the backup file is over 3 gig. Now, I can tell you that is a huge site. I myself have tested that program and done backups for a customer that has over 4,000 members in their membership site, and everything was in there. All her posts, all her members, wishlist member was in there, everything. Right? So it's definitely worthwhile doing. So let's have a look at the site now.
Yeah, let me jump in for a second on that, Wolfie, and that is that where you're gonna run into problems is if you put your videos into your site, into your content. And
then it gets big.
That'll be a problem. So keep your videos into an Amazon S3 account or a Vimeo account or a Wistia account, whichever you're going to use, or even YouTube. But if you throw your videos on your site, first of all, your site has not been designed for streaming, so that's going to be not optimum. And secondly, the ability for you to back it up is going to be almost impossible.
Yeah. And you know the best thing about that, when you use somebody else's storage area like Amazon S3 or YouTube or whatever, or Vimeo, Vidler, those sort of things, is that you're using their bandwidth, not yours.
That's right.
That's the cool bit.
That's right.
So you can have long videos, hour-long videos or 2-hour-long videos, and you're not using a drop of your bandwidth because it's all coming from them. Anyway, now, we were going to log out of here, and we're going to go through the tests to see what happens. So we're now logged out, and I'm going to get rid of the information there and go directly to the page. So there we go. We can see this is the site that we started off with, and you can go hello world, everything works, and obviously you would remove things down here like the login. Okay, so reply, there you go. So the page, everything works. Let's have a look at what the source code says. So it's right click and go down the page source. Now remember we were looking for the /heads symbol? Well, just in front of it, interesting. That's the first time that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, always
what that means?
Yep.
I forgot to tick something, didn't I? I forgot to tick something. Now, how do we get in there? I've forgotten my number and my name. How do I do it?
God,
this is a perfect opportunity to use the key. So what we type in is WP login .php, then we put a question mark, and then we put the key. And if it doesn't make a lie out of me, it hasn't. Good. Then we simply get the details. It's always fun, isn't it, when you do a live one?
Oh, yeah.
And then we log in. And yes, I could have used my 1Password. And the good thing about this is, down the bottom here, where you've got security, we just click on that. Now, remember I was saying before that you could add or tick the email notifications, and after a while they're just going to get boring, right? And you're going to wonder, how do you get to them how do you click here to fix this as it's gone, right? It's over here at the last tab. It's called Tweaks. That's where you find all those that you can add it at a later stage. So let's go down and here, protect files, filters. Okay, tweak. No. We haven't removed the error message, so that's another one we want to do. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Worked less than an hour ago. It's worked every other time so far.
It only. Well, remember, we're having that Mercury retrograde thing. It's not you. It's the blogosphere.
Okay. Yes. Yes. No. You know what it is? Tell you right now what it is. I know what it is. I came across this the other day.
Aha.
It's my cache. For some reason, my cache will not do it. So what we do is,
put it in Safari.
Testbed 3, we don't want to log in. So we just go to info. Yeah. Come on. There's the website. Okay. Let's go show page source. And this shows it a little bit different, but we're still looking. It's still got it. What's going on here?
Interesting. And your current WordPress and current install of the plugin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The plugin itself doesn't matter because it's protecting itself really well. Okay, what can I say? Over an hour and a half ago, it worked.
Yeah. Well, worst comes to worst, you just go in.
Because I ran through it, and I've been doing this. Go in and what?
Go in and edit it out. Yeah.
It's PHP code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's PHP code. I wouldn't do it. I'll see what's going on here and let you all know about it. But at least I was able to show you where the tweaks are so that you can adjust the other ones and get those sorted out, like the, where was it? See here, it's ticked here. There's the meta generator.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you know what? Maybe untick it and then tick it back again. Try that.
Yeah, that's what I've just done. Yeah. I've just ticked it.
Yeah.
So let's tick it alone.
That really ticks me off.
Because this is the first time in years. Oh, that is so bad, Ken. That is so bad. Okay, let's refresh. And let's see what the page source shows us. Still shows it. All right, I'm going to have to dig into that, what it is. But the other day, what it turned out to be is my cache retained the information. All right, so let's, whilst we're on that page, let's test the WP admin, if I could type. and it doesn't show it. So let's go for, let's get the information here where we have to go. So we can get to the login screen, so I can show you that with the messages. As you can see, the message box up the top is missing. It's not here anymore. Normally it's located in there, but we can, and this morning, so it doesn't come back with it. And no, I don't want to save that. Thank you. So it doesn't tell you. It just leaves a blank box, but it doesn't tell you whether the username was correct or incorrect. It just doesn't let you in. All right. So that test it is passed. Now let's go to readme.html. And that gives you an error message because it's a forbidden file now. Right? So the way the site is currently behaving, it has passed the admin login area is locked away. They can't find it, and even if they do find it, it doesn't tell them what the username is or give feedback on it, whether they've got the password correct or not. And the readme.html file is still, safe in that sense because it can't be seen. So, Ken, do you have anything that you might want to add to this?
Boy, I tell you, it's comprehensive, and I'm seeing if people are like, I'm overwhelmed. We're loving.
Yeah, well, that's why.
On my end, we're loving this. I mean, obviously, I said on my end, we're absolutely loving this.
And I can tell you, frankly, I don't know what happened with the generator, why that didn't disappear, because it has on every install that I've done for the customer, and even this presentation less than an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Yeah. So we'll figure it out, and I'll let Ken know what the answer was.
We know stuff happens like that. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah. I mean, this has been outstanding. Anybody have any questions? Feel free and pop in. Great. Lynn says, great content. Thanks. No problem. We're pleasured to give this to you. A couple of things, because a few of you have asked. This is a lot to do. Yes, it's all going to be in the members area. You can follow along. If you want us to do this for you, we will be happy to. It will not be free. We actually came out with a product called WP SiteGuard a couple years ago, which had a different WordPress security plugin that we've got developer rights to, and we never really came out with it. I mean, we just didn't want to bring on all the responsibility, quite frankly. But in light of conversations and so on and so forth, Matt and I talked about it, and his team is cool with doing all of what you saw just to take the load off of you, and we're happy to do that with you. And I'll give you a link to that in just a minute. But so if you want us to do it, we're happy to do it, and it'll be probably a lot less expensive for us to do it for you than if you do it yourself. But Wolfie, tell everybody about your book. I mean, it may not be security, but I want them to be able to get more of you if they want to hear more about you and how to get a hold of you and stuff.
Believe it or not, the book actually does talk about security as well. Okay. And as you can see on the screen there, it's called Webutation, the book, the website.com. And there's 4 free chapters that you can get simply by putting in your name and your email address. And obviously you can also purchase the book from there. Now, the book itself is called Webutation, and it's designed to taking a company online successfully. It goes from the initial key phrase research all the way up to surveying your customers and doing the follow-ups and doing the tweaks to your website, as in regards to the feedback that you get from your customers. Because look, realistically, it's your customer that you need to please. You give them what they want, they'll come back to you all the time, as long as you stay in a trusted environment. You don't start being nasty to them, like continuously emailing them, spamming them, or anything like that. And there is also a Facebook page called Webutation the Book, strangely enough. Now, there is an upcoming competition, and you might want to be a part of that, because the grand prize for that is over $7,000 worth. Australian dollars for those that are overseas. I don't deal in American dollars. And what it is it is a complete reputation marketing setup for you, which is very comprehensive and assists you in getting your name out there as a trusted company in your niche and make you the leader. And it is also a one-on-one with me for 1 hour to go over your current online entity and offer suggestions depending on what you tell me your goals are. So that's over $7,000 worth. If you go to the website, I'm going to be posting the rules up there in the next, probably next few days to a week and a half. And then the competition will kick off probably towards the end of the month. What it is I'm going to offer cryptic clues as to where I am, textual clues, and the first person to guess where I'm standing, because I took my book on a bit of a round-the-world journey, and it was very keen to jump into my hand every time I was near a touristy type attraction. So I've got lots of photos for it, and the first person to guess where I'm standing with the book gets a copy of the book and also gets put into the draw for the major prize, and everybody else that guesses it afterwards, for the same photo obviously, will also go into the draw. And I have currently 18 photos that I'm going to use. Now, be aware that some people might guess it wrong, so don't just follow somebody else in front of you. Because I'm not going to say whether the person got a book. I'm just going to note down their details, and they go into the draw. So that's how it is, Ken. I mean, it's over 200 pages long, the book. And yeah, it covers so many different aspects. There is even social media in there. I have an interview in there with a very good Facebook expert, also a copywriter expert. Because even though I do copywriting myself, I thought, well, why not get somebody that makes a living out of it, specifically copywriting, instead of me offering it as a service as part of my business. So you've got experts in there, and a lot of details from me. There's so many hints, tips, and tricks. I've been actually, well, let's put it this way. While I was writing it, when it was still in proofreading stage, I was told off by several marketers for putting that much in.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the problem is when you start adding value, people get a little bit nervous because they don't have enough value of their own. But this has been great.
That's what it was.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Well, trainers and educators like us get in trouble because we do like to add value, and it diminishes, and because we don't charge like $4 million for it, people get threatened by that. So, but check out the book, guys. Check out the book. I think you'll really like it. It will be good for your business. Anything else? We're running like really long. Anything else that you want to add, Wolfie?
No, that's just about it. Basically, when you listen back to the video and pause it and do every step, you should not have an issue there.
Yeah, great. Listen, guys, Wolfie, do you have a problem next week if we take some Q&A on this after people have had a chance to go through the replay and so on? Not next week, the next session in 2 weeks.
Next session, let's have a chat off air because I need to go over to my calendar and all sorts of things.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I can block my screen, can't I? Hang on.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, and if you're available, I'd love to be able to at least just do a follow up with any kind of Q&A. And while you
next
check
Tuesday, no problems.
No, not
on
next.
The 11th.
No, the
18th.
Yes, the 18th.
18th at 11 a.m. Melbourne time. No worries.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Now, for those of you guys that are like, okay, so, can you do this for me? Because a few of you have asked. We anticipated that because when Wolfie and I were talking about it, I was like, everyone's going to be thrilled, but they're going to be a little bit overwhelmed. Here's what we did. Wolfie, would you do me a favor? Just go to SiteGuard.com, WPSiteGuard.com. It forwards to.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what we did. And I'll put a
Okay,
I'll put a link in. And Tasha, I unfortunately you've been popping me in the chat. I don't see the chat I never look in the chat because no one ever uses it. Somehow you got into the chat, so I
so
apologize.
what was the
WP,
what's the website again?
WPSiteGuard.com. And I just tested that, and it should work. We did this like last night, so it is not a perfect website at all. But we did it just for you guys for the next 24 hours. We're gonna go out with yeah, there it is. It's gonna load. We went out with and there's a cute little video. I did this like a couple of years ago, honest to God. So you probably want to stop the video. The video is kind of cute, so you should watch the video just for entertainment value. In any event, we're going to try 297 for WordPress security setup, kind of independent of just regular site setup. For you guys, Matt's team will do what you saw Wolfie do, plus some other things that are on this page. And wow, this is not looking the way I set it up earlier. Anyway, so it looks like wow, it looks terrible. Yeah. So clearly this is not a site that we spent a lot of time on last night to get ready for you all. But
internet goblins.
Well, it looked beautiful when I looked at it. I don't know what's going on right now. Very. It's like you and I. Like, it's really weird. In any event, here's the thing: when you click on Add to Cart, it's going to show a $297. In fact, go to Add to Cart on that.
Okay.
But we'll do it for you for $97 when you order within the next, looks like 9 hours and 31 minutes. I thought we were giving everybody 24 hours. This is weird. I gave it a full 24 hours. I edited the whole thing, and you're looking at a completely different version. That is weird. Okay, the promo code. I hope this works now. The promo code that you guys are going to use is SiteWrap Rocks. SiteWrapRocks. I don't think there's an exclamation point. Try it. It may be. Let's see if it's case sensitive. Try that. It gives you $200 off. No. Okay. Try it with a capital S, a capital W,
yep,
and a capital R. SiteWrap Rocks. And try that. See if that works. There you go. Okay, thank you, Jesus. Okay, so that's the promo code. Okay, SiteWrap Rocks.
Something went right.
I know, amazing, right? So if you want to do it, it's $97. I'm not even sure if there's a proper thank you page set up yet. But if you want to
give me your credit card details, I'll put it in and test it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So anyway, if you want us to do it, we'll be happy to do it. When the order comes through, Matt will email you back and get your basic information so we can get in and get started with it, and we'll do it for you. It'll take us a couple of days just to process through, because I'm sure there'll be a few of you that want us to do that for you. But we'll be following Wolfie's steps plus some of our own special juice with the plugin that we use as well. So you'll kind of get the best of both.
Yeah, like I said, it was a basic setup, but it pretty much gets you up there.
No, you did great. I mean, it's terrific. And there's things, Matt was watching. He's like he's made a couple of notes as well. So, like I said, if you want us to do the work for you, we're happy to do it. You guys will not pay $297. We will charge others that much because it takes time, and there's obviously an element of risk.
It does.
Yeah. Now, by the way, the guarantee thing on that needed to be edited too. Since we're doing work on it, this. It's like it's not a digital product or something. It's actually work being done, and kids have to get paid. So we're going to guarantee that we'll do the job right for you, and we'll go back and we'll fix it if there's anything that you're not happy with. But that's the guarantee that we're giving you all on that, just to be clear. Again, this is something we did through the middle of the night last night, and it is not normally the way we like to do things. But I wanted to make sure you had the option if you wanted to get started right away and don't have the time to do it yourself. The kids do. And Matt has to update some of the things because the kids that do it, just so you know, the school that Matt and his wife run, the kids are hearing impaired. And that's the nicest way of saying deaf. Everything we got to give them has to be in visual, not auditory. So it's cool. It's really cool to be able to have them and get them set with us. And we're actually have 2 people now that are apprentices on our staff, so it's kind of cool. So if you want us to do it, we're happy to do it for you at WPSiteGuard.com or totalpreneur.com/WP-SiteGuard. Easier.
I just want to say something on that, Ken.
Yeah.
It's only $97. Geez, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And even at $297, it'll be worth it, because I can tell you, if anything goes wrong during your security install,
Yeah.
and you make a mess of something, especially when you're mucking around in the code and deleting files, it is absolute murder to get it fixed up, and usually it costs you a hell of a lot more. It's almost like I've seen websites totally destroyed. There was nothing savable because somebody attempted to do their own security.
Yeah, we're going to
and they had to start and they had to get build a new website to get going.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're going to back you all up before that happens, because we're not going to take any risks. But again,
you know what you're doing, though.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you know what you're doing,
and that's why I wanted. I mean, I wanted just to do it for $97. You know, it's like it's kind of a drop in the bucket to do that. We will charge at least $297 for SiteGuard as as it goes, just because it makes sense. You know, it's for you guys, your family, and we want to take care of you and protect you. And so that's just kind of the scoop. So if you want us to do it, we're happy to. If you want to do it yourself, have at it. You know, I'm totally cool you doing it yourself, but don't come back to us and ask us to fix it, because that's a lot of work. Trust me. Okay, you guys, let's do takeaways. What are your takeaways from today?
I want you guys to do it for me. That's my takeaway. I like easy.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's not, guys, we, honest to God, I mean, I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to like edit what we did. So this was not a set thing that we had planned. I just like realized we better do this for you. So there's not going to be a proper thank you page. There's not going to be a proper membership login. There's none of that's there. So as soon as the order's done, expect, like I said earlier, like have the user experience be terrific. This was not a terrific user experience. It will not be. At least until we're ready to actually launch this thing. So as soon as it comes in, what I would do is just send a message to support. Give us your best contact information so Matt can get with you and get your online access into your cPanel and into your WordPress installation, so they can get the job done. All right. There's no form for that set yet. There's no system. There's not a ton of you here with me. This is for you guys right now. For those of you watching on the replay. The timer is ticking on that. If you haven't watched it quick, and I guess we'll have to give an extra day because it'll be a few hours before I get this thing rendered. This is a very short time. We're not doing this for everybody at $97. I can promise you that. So if you've missed that, I apologize. So everybody, thank you all so very much. We will see you in 2 weeks. A couple of new changes coming, some new content coming for you guys. As always, please feel free and pop us your questions. Your suggestions are very valuable to us. I appreciate you all very, very much. Wolfie, let's give you another hand. Thank you so much. Great job.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, very, very, very helpful.